You ever look at someone and just wonder, how do they do it? You see people with the same intelligence, the same raw talent as everyone else, but they just achieve so much more. It's a puzzle, right? One that researchers have been trying to solve for ages. And it turns out the answer isn't what you'd think. For more than a century, this has been the big question. We all know being smart or naturally gifted helps, but it's obviously not the whole story. So, what is that secret ingredient? What's the thing that separates the truly great from the rest of us? Well, to figure that out, we have to go to a place that is designed to push people to their absolute limit. And that place is West Point. Every single new cadet there starts their career with something they call Beast Barracks. And trust me, it lives up to the name. It is a non-stop, dawn-to-midnight trial by fire, testing every ounce of their physical and mental strength. It's literally designed to find their breaking point. Now, get this. Every single person who makes it into West Point is already a superstar. They have top grades, they're incredible athletes, they're the best of the best. And yet, even with that insane level of screening, about 1 in 20 of them drops out during that first summer. So if it's not talent or ability that keeps them there, what is it? Well, it all boils down to one single quality. One trait that a researcher named Angela Duckworth found was the absolute best predictor of who would push through and who would quit. She gave it a name, the grit factor. So what in the world is grit? It's not just about working hard for a little while, nope. It's this special mix of passion and, maybe more importantly, perseverance, all aimed at really long-term goals. It's all about stamina. It's seeing life as a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, so this works for soldiers in training, but what about the rest of us? Does it matter in the real world? Absolutely. Duckworth and her team put this idea to the test in 6 totally different studies, in all kinds of situations, to see if it held up. And what they found was pretty incredible.
Let's go back to West Point for a second. The numbers were just staggering. Cadets who scored just a bit higher on the GRIP scale were over 60% more likely to finish Beast Barracks. Let that sink in. This one personality trait was a better predictor of success than West Point's own detailed scoring system that looks at everything from fitness to grades. It was all about the grit.
And here's where things get really weird. They looked at students at a top Ivy League school. And sure enough, the grittier students had higher GPAs. But, and this is the crazy part, they also tended to have slightly lower SAT scores than their classmates. How on earth does that make sense? Hold that thought, we're going to come back to it. And grit isn't just for academics or the military. Think about something like the National Spelling Bee. The pressure is immense. And it turns out, grit was a better predictor of which kids would make it to the finals than even self-control. And the reason is actually pretty simple. The grittier kids just put in more hours of practice, day after day, week after week. Their passion kept them going. And this isn't just about our youth. The effects of grit last a lifetime. The research shows that, on the whole, adults with more grit get more education. And here's the really cool part. Grit isn't some fixed thing you're born with. As we get older, we actually tend to get grittier. It's like we learn from experience that, you know what, sticking with things actually works. Now, while the scientific term grit might be new, the idea behind it is anything but. It's actually part of a really long human tradition, this quest to figure out what it takes to live a good, successful life. I mean, you can see this thread running through all of human history. From codes of conduct in ancient Egypt to Cicero's Guides to Life in the Roman Empire, all the way up to the book that basically invented the genre, self-help, and modern classics like How to Win Friends and Influence People. We have always known that persistence matters. Grit is just science finally catching up and giving it a name. So let's get specific. What makes grit so special? How is it different from other things we associate with success, like talent or just good old-fashioned self-control? They're not the same thing. Think of it like this. Grit is for the marathon. It's what gets you through something like Beast Barracks. Self-control, on the other hand, is for the sprints. It's what helps you resist watching another episode so you can finish your homework and get a good grade. And IQ, or talent, that just helps with performance in general. They're all useful, just for different types of challenges. And that brings us back to that Ivy League puzzle, remember? Lower SAT scores, but higher grades. Well, this quote from the researchers explains it perfectly. In a room full of super smart people, the ones who aren't quite as naturally brilliant as their peers have to compensate. They develop more determination, they develop more grit to keep up, and eventually they pull ahead. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? It means we might need to change how we think about achievement itself. It's time to adopt what you might call the marathon mindset. The researchers came up with this really simple but powerful formula. Achievement